of bacteria which cause the skin infections. These are Staphylococci and Streptococci. Both are gram-positive bacteria. As you know that these bacteria are present normally as a normal skin flora on the skin. And if this is present as a normal flora, the person is called a carrier. The carrier state is most commonly seen in anterior nares. The organism is present in anterior nares of 35% of individuals and in perineal area in 20% of the patients. This carrier state is especially important in neonatal ICUs if the person is carrier, the healthcare worker or nurse is carrier, he or she may infect the children, the infants. Bacterial skin infections by Streptococci and Staphylococci can be divided into three types of infections: direct infections of skin and appendages, toxin-mediated infections, and superantigen-mediated infections. Skin infections include impetigo, eczema, necrotizing fasciitis, erysipelas, and cellulitis, while hair follicle infections include folliculitis, furuncle, and carbuncle. Who are the individuals who are at risk of developing these infections? These include poorly controlled diabetes, renal insufficiency, hematological malignancies, nutritional deficiencies, alcoholism, HIV/AIDS. Therapeutic factors are those people who are on corticosteroids, cytotoxic agents, or on retinoids, and those individuals who are suffering from any primary immunodeficiency disorder. So, direct infection of skin may be of hair follicles or directly of the skin. That is how we classify the skin infections. As we know that skin consists of epidermis, dermis, and this subcutaneous tissue, yellow in color, and then fascia. The most superficial infection, which involves the superficial layers of epidermis, is called impetigo. The infection which involves the full thickness of epidermis is called eczema. The infection which involves the up to the upper layer of dermis is called erysipelas. And if the infection is going up to the deep dermis or subcutaneous tissue, this is called cellulitis. So the skin infections are impetigo, the superficial one, eczema, the full thickness epidermis, erysipelas up to the superficial epidermis, cellulitis up to the deep epidermis, and necrotizing fasciitis involving all these layers of the skin, so that if there is infection, the underlying muscles are exposed. The diseases which are caused by bacterial toxins are staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome, toxic shock syndrome, staphylococcal scarlatina, and scarlet fever, which is caused by streptococci. These are various toxins which are produced by these organisms. Epidermolytic toxin is produced by staphylococci and causes staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome and bullous impetigo. Then toxic shock syndrome toxin cause toxic shock syndrome. Staphylococcal erythrogenic toxin cause staphylococcal scarlatina, while streptococcal erythrogenic toxin cause scarlet fever. So what is impetigo? As I have already shown that impetigo is a very superficial infection of epidermis. There are two clinical forms of impetigo, bullous impetigo and non-bullous impetigo. Bullous the organisms are same. Both the staphylococci or streptococci can produce both type of these infections. This is non-bullous impetigo. In this, there is transient vesicular pustule, and that which rapidly evolves into honey-colored crust. This honey-colored crust, the golden jello crust, is typical. It is diagnostic of non-bullous impetigo. Again, you can see this perioral area is a common site of impetigo. You can see the honey-colored crusted erosions. Again, you can see the typical honey-colored crusted erosions in non-bullous impetigo. And this is, you can see the areas of pus. If the crust is removed, you can see eroded areas and some pus discharge. Bullous impetigo is the form of impetigo in which there is formation of vesicles or blisters. There is rapid progression of vesicle and flaccid bullae, and these flaccid bullae rupture. You can see here the rupture of the bullae, and there is peeling of skin after rupturing of the bullae. Again, bullous impetigo, you can see intact vesicles and blisters. You can see some pus here, and if, these are very flaccid blisters. They quickly rupture, and there is peeling of the skin and eroded areas. Why there is blister formation? The blister formation is due to a toxin, which is called exfoliative toxin, which cleaves the desmoglines. Desmogline 1 is a component of desmosomes, and as you know, desmosomes are junctional proteins within the keratinocytes, which hold the keratinocytes together. If this toxin cleaves a desmogline, which is a component of desmosome, the cells will separate from one another and a blister will form. So these are various forms of impetigo. You can see non-bullous impetigo with honey-colored crusting and bullous impetigo. This non-bullous impetigo. Treatment will be topical antibiotic if the infection is mild, or oral antibiotic if the patient is showing the signs and symptoms of widespread infection or there is lymphadenopathy. The drug of choice is penicillin, flucloxacillin, or in cases of if the patient is allergic to penicillins, then you use erythromycin. Then coming to ecdyma. As I already told that ecdyma is the infection of the skin which involves the full thickness of epidermis. This is characterized by formation of adherent crust beneath which ulceration occurs. Etiology, both streptococci and staphylococci may produce this type of infection. Predisposing factors are again poor hygiene, malnutrition, scabies, and minor injuries. Clinical features, uh, in ecdyma, you can see there is thick crust and necrotic skin, and full thickness of epidermis is necrotic. You can see a thick blackish or brownish chocolate colored eschar formation due to full thickness involvement of epidermis. And if you remove this crust, there will be underlying ulcer. Here you can see this is a ecdyma, lesion of ecdyma. You can see blackish colored crust. If this crust is removed, there is underlying, you can see underlying ulcer. And there are some healing lesions of ecdyma also. Again, you can see ecdyma. This is more angry looking infection. You can see full thickness involvement of the skin and blackish eschar. How you treat ecdyma? It is treated with the treatment of underlying cause. If there is underlying scabies or underlying eczema or any other underlying cause, you treat that, and you give topical or systemic antibiotics depending upon the spread of infection. So, to differentiate between the impetigo ecdyma, there are certain points. Impetigo is a superficial infection, while ecdyma is deep infection. In impetigo, we see honey-colored crusting. In ecdyma, we see chocolate-colored crust. Crust is loosely adherent in impetigo, while in ecdyma, crust is tightly adherent. There is no ulcer formation in if we remove the crust, and there is formation of ulcer if we remove the ecdyma crust. Most common site of impetigo is face, while in ecdyma it is most commonly seen in lower limbs. Impetigo heals without scarring as only superficial layers of epidermis are involved, while ecdyma heals with scarring. You see, this is impetigo, honey-colored crust and superficial crusted plaque, and this is full thickness involvement of the skin and blackish color eschar. Then coming to necrotizing fasciitis. Necrotizing fasciitis is the infection of full thickness of epidermis, dermis, and deeper soft tissues up to the muscles. It is very rapidly developing infection and may involve larger areas in 1 or 2 days only. And there is frank formation of pus, blisters, and necrosis. The etiology, the organisms involved are streptococci, Clostridia, and anaerobes. You can see this is the early lesion of necrotizing fasciitis. Patient will be systemically unwell with fever and malaise. You can see redness, erythema, swelling, and blister formation. This will quickly go into the necrosis of skin, and there is black eschar and frank necrosis of the skin. If you remove this necrosis, as the full thickness of skin is involved, all the layers, epidermis, dermis, and subcutaneous tissue up to the facial planes, you can see underlying muscles after the surgical debridement. This necrotizing fasciitis is a surgical emergency, and you have to debride the lesions in emergency and give IV antibiotics. Now coming to infections of hair follicles. Infections of hair follicle are also classified according to depth of infection. As you know, hair follicle consists of ostium, neck region or isthmus, and hair bulb. And this is hair emerging from the hair follicle. So if only the superficial ostium is involved, this is called osteofolliculitis. Again, if the region up to the neck is involved, then it will cause folliculitis. If there is infection of full thickness or full of depth of the hair follicle up to the bulb, there it is called furuncle. And if there is infection of adjacent hair follicles, as you can see, one hair follicle and the side by side is another follicle, and multiple hair follicles, adjacent hair follicles are involved, this will cause the formation of carbuncle. Again, the same. Folliculitis is very superficial infection of the hair follicle. Furuncle is full thickness infection, and carbuncle is infection involving the adjacent hair follicles, full thickness infection of adjacent hair follicles. Folliculitis is the inflammatory change confined to ostium or only slightly below. The infection, the lesion is a pustule surrounding a hair follicle, and you can see erythema and some swelling around each hair follicle. You can see this is hair follicle and surrounding that is a pustule. This is folliculitis. Again, folliculitis of beard area. You can see multiple pustules around the hair follicles. Treatment is flucloxacillin or any other penicillinase resistant antibiotic. Furuncle Furuncle is an acute, usually necrotic infection of full thickness of hair follicle caused by Staphylococcus aureus. Predisposing factors are malnutrition, mechanical damage to skin like friction and belts, diabetes, and HIV. So clinical features, the furuncle will present with a small follicular inflammatory nodule which becomes pustular, then there is necrosis, and there is discharge of necrotic core followed by healing with scarring. You can see if you compare that with the folliculitis, it was very superficial. While it is here in furuncle, the lesion is raised, larger, and there is some necrosis in the center of the lesion. This is the multiple furunculosis, multiple hair follicles, but these follicles are away from each other. These are not adjacent hair follicles. So this is multiple furunculosis. Carbuncle. Carbuncle is deep infection of a group of adjacent hair follicles with Staph aureus. It is accompanied by intense inflammatory changes. Predisposing factors of carbuncle include middle or old age men, underlying disease like diabetes, malnutrition, cardiac failure, drug addiction, and severe generalized dermatosis like exfoliative dermatitis and pemphigus, and the patients who are on prolonged steroid therapy. So all the immunosuppressed individuals and the individuals with uncontrolled diabetes are predisposed to develop carbuncles. Carbuncle presents as painful hard red lump. The most common site is nape of neck. Here you can see multiple openings of hair follicles discharging pus, and these are adjacent hair follicles. Again, you can see a large red tender lump with multiple discharging hair follicles. This discharge of pus. You can see this frank pus discharge. This is again a surgical emergency, and the lesion needs to be debrided surgically, and IV antibiotics should be given. Patient will be having fever, malaise. Management, you have to take the pus CS. If the patient is not a known diabetic, you have to check the sugar levels, or if even if the patient is diabetic, the patient may be having uncontrolled diabetes, and you have to control the sugar level. And after surgical debridement, you give flucloxacillin. Erysipelas, as I told you, that erysipelas is the infection of skin that develops as a result of bacterial entry via breaches in the skin barrier, via any abrasion or any trauma. And it involves the superficial layers of epidermis. Here you can see in this picture, this is epidermis, this is epidermis. The very superficial infection will call impetigo. The full thickness infection will cause ecdyma, and if the in the superficial dermal involvement will cause the erysipelas, and deep dermal involvement will cause cellulitis. You see infection, erysipelas. You can see the red patch of the red, slightly swollen patch involving the nose also, and its margins are sharply demarcated. This is erysipelas. This will be hot, red, and tender. Again, you can see red, hot, tender patch with which has well demarcated borders. This is erysipelas. Cellulitis is an infection of skin in which there is involvement of the deep dermis or subcutaneous tissue, and patient will be having fever or signs of systemic upset. In cellulitis, the area is diffusely red, swollen, tender, and its margins are diffuse. If you compare it with erysipelas, the margins of erysipelas are well demarcated, while margins of cellulitis are diffuse, and there is more swelling in cases of cellulitis because there is deeper tissue involvement. You can see cellulitis versus erysipelas. In erysipelas, the margins are well demarcated, while in cellulitis, the margins are diffuse, and there is more erythema and more swelling in cases of cellulitis. Now, coming to the diseases which are caused by bacterial toxin, the very important disease is staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome. Other are toxic shock syndrome, scarlet fever. What is staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome? This is seen in infants and neonates, and it is caused by exfoliative toxin, and this exfoliative toxin produced by staphylococci is going to cleave desmoglein 1. As I already told, that desmoglein 1 is a component of desmosome, which is the junctional protein which adhere the cells together, cells of epidermis together. And if there is if there is cleavage between the cells will separate and there will be peeling of skin. It usually starts from the very superficial impetigo-like lesions in the flagellal areas, and then it rapidly extends to involve the other parts of body. You see, here there is involvement of groin area and increasing erosion. You can see the it is starting from neck area and then involving the full body. If you take pus swab from this skin, it will be negative. It will not show any growth of staphylococci because this is toxin mediated. This is not direct infection of the skin. This is toxin mediated infection, toxin mediated condition, and the original infection is somewhere else. The patient may be having septicemia or infection at the occult site. So blood culture may be positive, but skin culture will be negative. Caused by, it is, I already told, it is caused by exfoliative toxin A and B, which is disseminated by blood-borne spread. As I already told, that triple S is mostly seen in children, but sometimes it may be seen in adults. It is seen in children because the renal system of children is less well developed, and this toxin, exfoliative toxin, is, or this the second name is epidermolytic toxin. This toxin is excreted through kidneys. So infants and neonates are at risk, while in adults, the patients with renal failure are at risk. And other patients who are at risk are malignancy, immunosuppression, or patients with alcohol abuse. The prognosis is good in children if you admit the patient timely, fluid and electrolyte balance, you give the IV antibiotics, but there is high mortality in cases of adults. Management is parenteral antibiotics, flucloxacillin, cephalosporins, or in cases of penicillin allergy, erythromycin. So now I will summarize the infections of the skin. First, we studied impetigo. There are two types of impetigo, bullous impetigo and non-bullous impetigo. In bullous impetigo, there is subcorneal vesicle, and in non-bullous impetigo, there is honey-colored crust. Ecdyma is involvement of full thickness of epidermis. You can see the deeper involvement of the skin with brownish chocolate brown to black eschar formation. And if you remove this eschar, there will be an underlying ulcer. Necrotizing fasciitis is infection and necrosis of all the layers of skin, including epidermis, dermis, and subcutaneous tissue up to the facial planes. It is very rapidly expanding infection. Within 1 or 2 days, a larger area of the body may be involved, and it needs urgent surgical debridement along with IV antibiotics. And coming to infections of hair follicles, the more three important infections are folliculitis, furunculosis, and carbuncle. Folliculitis is the involvement of only the superficial part of hair follicle. Furuncle is the involvement of full thickness of hair follicle. You can see here the lesions are very small in folliculitis, while there is a big nodule in cases of furuncle because of full thickness involvement and necrosis of the hair follicle. And in carbuncle, there is involvement infection of adjacent hair follicles. And you can see a large tender red lump with multiple openings of pus discharge. And these openings are openings of hair follicles. Coming to erysipelas and cellulitis, erysipelas is the infection up to the superficial dermis, while cellulitis is infection up to the involving the deep dermis or subcutaneous tissue. In erysipelas, the margins, the lesion is red, hot, tender, with well demarcated